So this is a public search from yours truly, King Triple C, the Olympic champ, the flyweight champ, and the bantamweight champ of the world, and somebody that is turning 25 by the name of Ben. He's getting old. He needs some old and damn bones. You want to be unranked, below average UFC fighter. You absolutely make me sick. But you're known as I'm known as the messenger. But you're known as leave a mess in her bed. Anyhow, Ben, happy 25th. You absolutely make me sick.
Hey guys, Basement Breakdown here. We are back with another UFC fight night. We will be breaking down the card, giving our full predictions. Alright guys, so for our main card, well, we're going to start off on the prelims, but we do have Kamaru Usman going up against Joaquin Buckley, with a co-main event being Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. This is an exciting card, guys. Kamaru Usman hasn't fought in quite some time. The last time we saw him fight was against Khamzat Chimaev. We all know how, or at least you subscribers know how I feel about that fight. I think a lot of you will agree. I thought it was closer to a draw than it was anything else. But yeah, he goes up against Joaquin Buckley. But we're not there yet, guys. We got to start at the beginning.
I'm here with my very good friend, Jacoby.
Oh, yeah?
And we are here to talk about some replacement fights because Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman has suffered a couple canceled bouts, and we've got to talk about it. So, let's do it. Jamie Lynn Horth will not be fighting Teresa Bleda, and Ricky Simon is not fighting Charles Jourdain. They are matched up against other opponents. Jamie Lynn Horth is going against Vanessa Diamopoulos, who lost her last fight against Talita Alencar. This was during the Josh Emmett and Lerone Murphy card. I think that Jamie Lynn Horth is going to get it done. I think it's very late notice. I think that Vanessa Diamopoulos has the height and reach deficit. I think it'll probably be a decision. I'm sure it'll be boring.
When you look at it, it's really like you need to look at it as somebody's taking a fight off of a short notice. They're not prepared for this as the other fighter.
And she's a woman. And honestly,
obviously she's a woman.
She's a woman, and to be honest, I think Jamie Lynn Horth, which one would you say looks more like a man? Her, right? And wait. And then we go to Vanessa. This is an easy one.
Well, Vanessa's bad as fuck, so I'm going to take Vanessa.
So she's bad. So you think that the good-looking woman is going to beat the manly-looking woman?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the manly-looking woman who's had an entire fight camp and is not fighting short notice. So Jamie Lynn Horth, I think, is going to win a decision against Indianapolis, and we move up. All right, guys. The next one, as far as... we got Ricky Simon versus Cameron Smotherman. I actually picked Cameron Smotherman in his last fight, where he lost that versus Serhai Sidi in a decision. He goes up against Ricky Simon, who I picked against in his last fight, where he won, versus Javid Basharat, which is a TKO in the first round. I was quite surprised by that, but again, this is late notice, and Cameron Smotherman is coming off a loss. I think that Ricky Simon has the tools to beat Cameron Smotherman, and I just don't trust him. He does have the height advantage. They're both the exact same reach, but Ricky Simon,
I'm taking Ricky Simon.
He won his most recent fight.
Yes.
Cameron lost very recently, and he's coming off of that loss that's decently recent into this fight. So Ricky Simon has...
Yes, for his sparring sessions that I've seen, he has been dominating nonstop. Of course, he's a professional fighter, but I will say that he has the edge against him because he has been putting in that work.
Yeah, he's had an entire fight camp. I think Cameron Smotherman's a good fighter. I think he's young I think it's really good that he took this fight because he also has the height advantage. But I think Ricky Simon is I've doubted him before in the past because he's had some losses, but I think that he's gonna win this fight against Cameron Smotherman.
I fully believe he's gonna take this one.
I think it'll be I could see a TKO, but I think it'll be a decision for Ricky Simon over Cameron Smotherman. Prove me wrong, Cameron.
I feel like that might be a round 2.
He thinks a round 2. What do you think, a TKO? Submission?
Leave in the comments what you think what is this gonna be.
Fair enough. All right, we move.
Sorry, edit that out. Leave in the comments what you think it's gonna be.
So we move up. There was another fight added, being Philip Rowe versus Andre Lusa. I like Philip Rowe. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. No, but his nickname is the Fresh Prince, and he lost his last fight to Jake Matthews via decision. I like Philip Rowe. I mean, to be fair, like, he hasn't fought too much as of late, and he's lost his most recent fights. I believe he lost to Neil Magny as well. I'm trying to think of his, besides Neil Magny, but he far and few. So it seems like he fights once a year, and that doesn't make me too happy. He fought Nico Price, who he beat, Jason Witt. Yeah, and
he's not looking good on the score records.
Yeah, but he's going against a guy who fought Brian Battle, who's a good fighter, who there's no contest, and then he fought Gabriel Bonfim, who he lost the decision to. I mean, to be fair, like, I think I would probably go. I'm gonna go with Philip Rowe for this fight. I know it looks a little like. I mean, his record looks a little like blotchy, and like he hasn't fought too much, but like I feel like he'll probably get this fight done. I just want to look for a second at his dimensions, but I do feel very confident in that pick. That is our last pick, I believe. Yeah, so look how much taller he is. 1.91 meters to 1.78. Look at that reach. 204.5 centimeters to 180.
Well, when you have the reach, you can put the battle how you want to be. It all depends if you want to take it to the ground. Because once you go to the ground, the reach does not matter.
But Andre Lusa is not typically, from what I've seen from him in his from his UFC fights, I don't think that he's going to be able to get Philip Rowe on the ground. I think that Philip Rowe will maybe knock him out or win a decision, and I'm very confident with that. So with that being said, guys, those are those are the fights that we had to go over because they are late replacements. I'm really excited for Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. I'm sure you guys have been watching the media day and all the interviews that have come out. I think that makes me more confident with my Joaquin Buckley pick. And let's get it, guys.
Cody Durden versus Jose Ocha. So Cody Durden, I picked him in his last fight against Joshua Van, where I believe he won the first round and proceeded to lose the second and the third. Cody Durden's a good fighter. He submitted Matt Schnell. He did lose to Bruno Silva, but he's been in some good fights, to say the least. Yeah, I like Cody Durden. He's definitely a guy who can hold his own. He goes up against Jose. They're 10 years apart. Jose being the younger guy, and they're exactly the same in all their metrics. Like height, they're both the same, and reach, like exactly the same. So yeah, Jose, his fight against, he had that fight against Lawner Kavanaugh, which was a very, very good fight, and you could honestly argue it for Jose. I think that's a very good fight against a good opponent. And then he beat Felipe Dos Santos by unanimous decision, Lawner Kavanaugh, and another sort of, I guess, I don't know. I kind of thought he lost that fight. Cody Durden, I think he's going to struggle with Jose. And Jose is going to be able to win a decision against Cody Durden. That's what I see happening. I think, Cody Durden's a good fighter, but I don't really see him winning this matchup, to be honest with you guys. So we're going to go with a Jose decision. We move up the card. Michael Chiesa, one of our favorite announcers on the, not announcers, but he's a analyst on the desk. But yeah, he still fights somehow. He's fighting a lot of the older dudes in the division. He fought Max Griffin his last time out, where he submitted him. Before that, he beat Tony Ferguson in his last fight in the UFC. Before that, he lost to Kevin Holland, and before that, he was out for 2 years. Michael Chiesa is definitely at the end of his career. He's very slow. His striking's slow. Everything's slow. He can still submit guys like we saw last time out, but I mean, I don't know. Court McGee is old as shit too. Older, actually, than his opponent. And his last fight out, he beat Tim Means, which is not a bad win whatsoever. One that I didn't actually think he was going to win against Tim Means. So there's that. Court McGee's not bad. I do think I think I'm going to side more with Michael Chiesa. I just like him more, and like I think he'll be able to deal with Court McGee. Hopefully. I mean, I could also see for some reason Court McGee just, I don't even know. But yeah, we're going to go with Michael Chiesa. I think he'll be able to deal with Court McGee. I think it's going to be boring as shit. I think it's either going to be a decision or a submission, but we'll go with a Michael Chiesa submission, I guess, guys. Now we get Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato, rescheduled, a fight that was booked and then canceled right before it happened. Rodolfo Bellato released a statement. He has herpes, so that's why the fight didn't happen. True story. You can search it up. So the Bear Jew goes against Rodolfo Bellato. Yeah, that's the main event of the preliminary card. I'm not changing my pick. I think that Paul Craig will lose to Rodolfo Bellato. Even with herpes, I think Rodolfo Bellato has the advantage. I think he's too much for him on the feet. I think that Paul Craig's old. I think that he's coming off a lot of losses. His last one was against Muniz. Now he's moving back up to light heavyweight, where he had his best success against guys like Jamal Hill and Magomed Ankalaev. That was a while ago. The only way he wins this fight is with his jiu-jitsu. I don't think he'll be able to get it off. Rodolfo Bellato will more than likely score a knockout. So we'll go with a second round knockout for Rodolfo Bellato, and that'll probably be the end of Paul Craig's career in the UFC. We move up, guys. Alonzo Menifield versus Umar Sy. Umar Sy is undefeated in the UFC. I do like him. He's coming off of a win versus Jung Da Woon. That was the Moicano versus St. Denis fight night. And before that, he beat Tuco Tacos. And he's 11-0. With 2 wins in the UFC. And now his third fight is against Alonzo Menifield. Yeah, Alonzo's 37 years old. I do like him. What's his last fight? Yeah, he beat Julius Walker in a very close back and forth decision. Where I did think that he won, but it was a very close fight against a guy who came in on last minute. And then before that, he's lost to Azmat Mirzakhanov and then Carlos Ulberg. And he beat Dustin Jacoby. He's beat Jimmy Crute. There was a draw with Jimmy Crute as well. I mean, I genuinely think that due to Umar's, he's taller. He's got a significant reach advantage on Alonzo Menifield, and he's younger. And he's coming off of 2 wins. Granted, he hasn't fought an opponent like Alonzo Menifield. Maybe I would have picked Alonzo. Maybe I would be more likely to pick him if it was a little earlier in his career. But I'm probably going to have to go with an Umar Sy win. And I think it's going to be by knockout. I think he'll probably get Alonzo Menifield out of there. I think it'll be scrappy up until the knockout. So I think it'll go past a round. So maybe we'll go with a round 2 Umar Sy knockout. We move up the card. This is so fuck me, man. Mansour Abdul-Malik goes up against Cody Brundage. Every time Cody Brundage gets a win, they feed him an up-and-comer. They just feed him a guy who they know he can't beat. I'm sorry, but it's true. I like Cody Brundage. I bet on him in his last fight versus Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile. But the fact is, Julian Marquez fucking sucks. And in that fight, I mean, there was a point when Cody Brundage looked like he was going to get knocked out until he didn't, and he rallied, and he ended up being the guy who did the knocking out. But he goes up against a very, very skilled opponent in Mansour Abdul-Malik. This really worries me. He went up against Nick Klein, Dusko Todorovic, and Wes Schultz in the Dana White's Contender Series. I would be very surprised if Cody Brundage wins this fight. I mean, he's good on the ground, but I think he's more than likely going to get knocked out. They just feed him up-and-comers. He was given Bo Nickel. To be fair, he beat Zachary Reese, which is a good win for Cody. I just worry for him, man. This is not a fight that I think he's going to win. I like you, Cody Brundage. I think that, you have a very inspiring story, and I was very happy to root for you last time. And I'm very sorry to hear with your daughter's health complications, and I'm happy you were able to win that bonus. But I cannot pick you in this fight. I have to go with Mansour Abdul-Malik by knockout. I think that's just the natural way to go with this. Prove me wrong, Cody. It would be crazy if he stops Mansour, but I gotta go with him. Moving up the card, we got Cody Garbrandt after he was supposed to fight so many guys and it just never happened. His last fight was, I believe, against Yeah, Davis and Figueiredo, and before that he was on like a 2-fight win streak against Trevin Jones and then Brian Keller. I mean, and then he was looking good against Davis and Figueiredo until he got submitted because his ground game fucking sucks. But he goes up against Ronnie Barcelos. I think he fought Umar Nurmagomedov, if I'm not mistaken, at one point. Or am I completely wrong about that? Was this the guy who beat Peyton Talbot? Yeah, he beat Peyton Talbot. Yeah, he did fight Umar Nurmagomedov. That was a crazy knockout. I remember watching that back in university, so I'm not wrong about that. But yeah, his most recent win comes against Peyton Talbot. So he derailed a hype train in Peyton Talbot, beating him unanimously, I believe. So that's definitely a big win for him. And he goes up against Cody Garbrandt. Shit. I mean, like, it just worries me. Maybe like it speaks more to like Peyton Talbot than it does to Ronnie Barcelos. I mean, he handled it very well, but like maybe it was just Peyton Talbot's inexperience with some of these veterans or something. But I don't know. I feel like I want to pick Cody Garbrandt. I don't think Ronnie Barcelos is gonna be able to like do too much to him. Like, I worry when Cody Garbrandt faces against like good, like then they put him against Davis and Figueiredo, like after beating Brian Keller or whatever. It's like a huge step up. This is a fight where I think he can probably win. I think he'll probably try and stay safe. He'll land on the outside and he'll win a decision against Ronnie Barcelos. I'd like to see a classic Cody Garbrandt knockout. I just don't know if that's really coming in this fight. So we're gonna go with a Cody Garbrandt decision over Ronnie Barcelos. I do see a lot of decisions coming in this card, guys. Prove me wrong. Edmund Shabazian goes up against Andre Petrovsky. Edmund Shabazian, has he taken some time off? Yes, he has. He lost to Gerard Michart in the comeback of the year where Gerard Michart was losing and then ended up submitting Edmund Shabazian. Before that, Edmund Shabazian had beat AJ Dobson. Well, he lost to Anthony Hernandez. No shame in that. To be fair, he doesn't fight too often, but he's fought some good guys, and he's, to be fair, lost more than he's won to some of these guys. But he has wins against Brad Tavares, Charles Boyd. He lost to Nasserini Mavov, Jack Hermanson, Anthony Hernandez. Seems like when he goes up against the top competition, he doesn't do so well. I do like Andre Petrovsky. I feel like he's on a bit of a streak. Rodolfo Vieira, Dylan Budka, and Josh Friend. Before that, he lost 2 fights in a row to Michel Pereira and Jacob Malcon. But like, I feel like I'm definitely more inclined to pick Andre Petrovsky in this fight. I do like him a lot. I'm sorry to the Golden Boy, but I don't know if I can pick you, bud. Yep. I think I'm going to go with Andre Petrovsky. I don't know. This worries me. Do I pick Edmund Shabazian to get back in the win column? I like Andre Petrovsky, guys. I don't know. I kind of want to go with an Andre Petrovsky KO of Edmund Shabazian. I think he's going to win, guys. So we're going to go with Andre Petrovsky to knock out Edmund Shabazian. Moving up to our co-main event, Rose versus Miranda Maverick. All right, so Rose, before losing to Aaron Blanchfield, was on a 2-fight win streak against Tracy Cortez. No. She beat Tracy Cortez and she beat Amanda Ribas. Yeah. And then before that, she lost to Manon Fiorot, who just fought for the title. No shame in that. She goes up against Miranda Maverick. She's a little bit younger, Miranda Maverick. I'll just say right off the bat, I fully expect Rose to win this fight. I think that, like, she's still like Rose more or less. She's like a good fighter who could probably take someone like Valentina Shevchenko to a split decision still. Miranda Maverick is on a 4-fight win streak against Priscilla Cochiera, Andrea Lee, Dion Barbosa, and Jamie Lynn Horth. That's not an impressive streak, but it is a streak nonetheless, which probably will look pretty good for Rose when she beats her by unanimous decision, which is what I fully intend to happen. I just think that Rose will be too much for Miranda Maverick, and that it'll be a mauling from Rose, Yeah, she's gonna beat Miranda Maverick. It's gonna be by unanimous decision, and that'll set her up for a fight against someone higher up in the division. I still like Rose. I think she's still capable of winning some fights and doing some damage. We move up to the main event of Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, going up against Joaquin Buckley. New Mansa. Ever since the New Mansa decided to stick around at the 170 division, he's found a home here. He fluctuated between 185 pounds for a bit and 170, not really kind of knowing exactly like where to go with it. He would have wins in both of these weight classes, but the best would come in obviously welterweight. Sorry, did I say lightweight? I meant welterweight. Sorry, 170 and 185. He would fluctuate between that for a bit, but you know, he fought Andre Falauho, and then he started his streak at 170, where it's up to 1, 2, 3. He's on a 6-fight win streak. Latest fight coming up against Colby Covington in that Tampa card, where he cut him very bad, and it was a doctor stoppage. That was a very impressive performance. Joaquin Buckley was arguably losing that fight to Stephen Thompson until he knocked out Stephen Thompson, so there's that. He beat Nursulon Ruzabayev, a guy who just fought at 185, who is a much taller opponent. That's very impressive. He beat Vicente Luque, Alex Morono. So he goes up against Kamaru Usman. And Kamaru Usman, I mean, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. And between each of the fights, like, there is a bit of a time jump. Like, he gets knocked out by Leon Edwards. Then he takes a year off, not a year, he takes a couple, like 8 months or whatever, comes back against Leon Edwards for the trilogy fight, loses a mixed decision, and then he fights Khamzat Chimaev, late notice, steps up a weight class, and he gets 10-8'd the first round, and I believe that he won the last 2, resulting in a draw, but he did lose that fight by a mixed decision. Now he goes up against Joaquin Buckley, like 400, like however many days later, like almost 500 days later. Long time, 2 years. I think that Joaquin Buckley is he has crazy momentum right now. Like, I mean, I like Kamaru Usman. Like, maybe back in the day he'd have what it takes to do this, but like, I just don't see it. I feel like fucking Joaquin Buckley is gonna probably walk through him and maul him. I could be wrong, but like, I feel like the confidence is just there for Joaquin Buckley. Like, coming off that Colby win, I don't know, man. I just don't know what Kamaru, like, I'm not saying he doesn't have anything left in the tank, but he took a long time to come back, and against this opponent in Joaquin Buckley, I don't see him winning this fight. I see Joaquin Buckley just fucking mauling him. I could even see a knockout, unfortunately. I think once these guys start to lose, and especially when they're just going to continue fighting the top of the top, and these guys are just on streaks while you're not, it's not going to really, it's not going to be great. So I think more than likely Joaquin Buckley is going to knock out Kamaru Usman. I think it'll take a bit of time. Like, I think, there'll be flashes. I think Kamaru Usman's knees are cooked. And yeah, guys, I think Joaquin Buckley is going to take him to school. I think before, when I first saw the odds come out in the fight itself, I for some reason was like, I think Kamaru is more likely to win. But like, after really letting it settle, I don't really see how that makes sense. Kamaru Usman's inactive. He's coming off of 3 losses. Granted, I mean, against top fighters, but Joaquin Buckley's on a 6-fight win streak. I fully expect him to get this done versus Kamaru Usman. This will either earn him a title shot or he's 1 fight away. But this earns him a title shot. He beats Kamaru Usman. He has 7 wins in a row against, yeah, you got to give him it. But yeah, guys, that is my breakdown for the UFC Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley fight night. Thank you very much for listening, guys. You know how much I love doing this. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever you can or want to. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Basement Breakdown now. Brace yourself for the latest show. Basement Breakdown, let it go.